Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys and offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Luba Workers Comp, a regional insurance carrier dedicated to providing reliable workers' compensation coverage to employers and workers in 13 states across the Southeast. With personalized service, trusted expertise, and tailored solutions, Luba helps businesses protect what matters most. Discover more at lubawc.com. And by JP Morgan Chase, a partner in financial planning. Looking ahead to retirement, growing your business, or for commercial banking, JP Morgan Chase offers advice and solutions tailored to individual needs and client well-being. More information is at jpmorganchase.com.
From Collins on St. Charles Avenue in Uptown New Orleans, we're Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, Tulane University A.B. Freeman School of Business professor and director of the Birkenroad Reports. It's business, New Orleans style.
Hi, I'm Peter Raschuti. Welcome to Out to Lunch. A lot of business success stories contain familiar scenarios. They include a previous spectacular failure, everybody telling an entrepreneur they were crazy, and an entrepreneur explaining that what might look like an overnight success was anything but. And then there are entrepreneurs like my lunch guest today who both had ideas for very different businesses, went ahead and opened their doors without any drama, and were instantly successful. Troy Bergeron spent 30 years in the music transportation business, driving tour buses for rock musicians like the late Ozzy Osbourne, and transporting equipment across the country. When he quit all that, he came back home to New Orleans, and he was wondering what he was going to do with himself when he overheard a woman complaining there was no doggy transportation option here. And that's when Doggie Bus was born. Doggie Bus is Uber for dogs. You book your dog's ride on the Doggie Bus app. Troy shows up in his specially converted passenger van. On the app, you track where your dog is, when he gets where he's going, and when he's on his way home. Troy launched Doggie Bus in New Orleans in January of 2024, and he's already franchising the business to other cities. Troy Bergeron, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Nice to be here.
Samantha Weiss had never lived in New Orleans. In New York City, she put her MBA and job in financial services on hold and started pursuing a career in food. Then the COVID pandemic derailed those plans, and Samantha and her friend Kelly Jacques came up with an idea: open a bakery in New Orleans. Okay, now 30 seconds of online research will tell you New Orleans already has 40 bakeries, twice as many per capita than your average city in the U.S. Nonetheless, Samantha and Kelly moved to New Orleans in 2022 and took over a space that used to be the Santa Fe restaurant in the Marigny, and they opened IU Bakehouse. If you live in New Orleans, you may know the rest of the story. IU Bakehouse was an instant success. Since opening, they've been featured in numerous national publications, including Vogue, the New York Post, USA Today, and Bon Appetit, which named IU as one of the most exciting bakeries in the country. And you've probably either tried or heard about their king cake, which has been voted New Orleans' best king cake in a Times-Picayune readers poll. Samantha Weiss, welcome Out to Lunch.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Troy, I can't even count the number of pitches I've heard for new businesses that describe themselves as the Uber of something. There are so many that Uber of dogs sounds like a punchline, but since 2024, with no employees, one van, and a relatively modest investment to create an app, you've built Doggie Bus, which is literally Uber for dogs, in a business that's so successful you're already franchising it. It's not totally surprising that nobody else had come up with this idea in New Orleans, but apparently nobody has thought of this idea anywhere. Now that seems so unlikely. Have you heard of other people trying this and maybe not succeeding, or are you really the first person to have thought of Uber for dogs?
I would say I'm the first person. There are other dog transportation places, not so much in America, but a lot in Canada, Australia, Japan, where they offer a dog service, transportation service, but it's going to their own facilities or their own dog parks. I don't have my own facility or my own dog park, but it just gave me the idea. You know, people are either too busy, or I hate to say it, too lazy, don't want to leave the house. Dogs either got to go to the vet, day camp, whatever. And that's where the whole idea came in. I'm like, this is a no-brainer to me. It exploded. It's really taken off. It really has.
And you know, dogs are smart. They know whether they're going to the vet or the beach.
Oh,
I just think
absolutely. That is very, very true.
Now, okay, I'll ask you this. How did Kevin the cat get to be your lone feline customer? And why not transport cats too?
Well, I have done a few cats, about a handful, but Kevin was my first. Actually, I've taken Kevin a few times. He was my first. I go to a trainer, Abby, 3 days a week with quite a few dogs, and her mascot is Kevin the cat. And Kevin needs to go to the vet. Kevin needs to go here. I'm like, she's too busy to leave, so come on, Kevin. Kevin was my first cat, but I have taken quite a few cats.
We're going to bring you back in 3 years and you're doing zebras. You know, that's the kind of thing it is. Samantha, not all pastries...
Well, it's funny. Let me tell you this real quick. In my air cargo transportation industry, you'd be surprised at some of the animals that I moved cross country. You'd be really surprised. I've done it.
Samantha, not all pastries are created equal. There's obviously something about the taste of the pastries you're making at IU Bakehouse that accounts for your popularity and success. But to some extent, all bakeries are created equal. By that, I mean the demands of being open 7 days a week, selling fragile, handmade products that have a shelf life of mere hours, replacing an entire day's inventory from scratch every day, and the need to have everything freshly made and ready to sell by first thing in the morning every morning. And I haven't even mentioned your wide range of fresh bread, your lunch sandwiches and salads, and the catering and wholesale divisions of your business. I understand the attraction of moving to New Orleans, but I'm wondering how you managed to get any free time to explore the city outside of work.
Oh, thankfully, we kind of baked that into the business plan, right?
Baking everything, yeah.
Yeah. Part of the reason that we opened in New Orleans is because as workaholics, like New York will exploit that. And so in New Orleans, at least, you're kind of forced to relax here and there. Like the city kind of demands it. And so, yeah, we have from the very beginning, I think, been able to try and give ourselves 2 days off a week. I mean, maybe they're not all relaxation, but at least we not always have to be present 7 days a week. And we alternate who's present, so one of us always is. But that's important because sustainability is one of our top values, and that goes for people.
Employees too, yeah.
Yeah, that goes very much for people and for the planet and for profits. Yeah.
Now, when you came up with this idea, your partner, Stephen, for 18 years, how did that go? Because it seems like a real difficult thing to pitch. We're going to move to New Orleans.
He said, if we're going to do this, then you need to be the next Betty Crocker. I was like, all right, well, I'll try. But no, at the time, thankfully, his work was in like software development, so he could work wherever wherever. And actually, since then, he has now transitioned to studying to become a pilot for JetBlue. So he's actually in Arizona right now.
I see flying dogs.
He's actually taking his instruments exam today. So
well, good luck.
I'm looking forward to the fact that there will be a lot of travel, I'm sure, in my future.
You know, Troy, I'm thinking of what you're doing, and it seems to me that, I don't know, is the app the magic sauce here?
Absolutely.
And Mario did the app, so
Yes.
we'll give him a shout out.
Absolutely. I had, you know, ideas and visions, and he made it. He put the puzzle together for me. I came to the table with a jigsaw puzzle. I said, put it together for me, make it happen. And he did.
And when you franchise, is that the big piece of the franchise?
The app is definitely the selling point, absolutely, because everybody's on their phone and nowadays, and there's an app just about for everything. You look at anything and download the app, it's everywhere. And that's what I wanted from day one, when I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I got to do it the right way, and the app was the way to go. And Mario put all my dreams in one app.
You know, I'm surprised it worked out so well because dogs don't have thumbs. That's what I was just...
Well, wait a minute, my app is so easy, a dog could do it.
Oh, that's the bumper sticker. They, Samantha, you've got, when I was looking at your site, you have kind of standard Louisiana, New Orleans kind of food, but you've also got what I would call kind of far-flung things. You're making them up. What are some of those?
I mean, we just didn't want to be pigeonholed into anything. You know, we wanted to be able to make whatever sounds interesting to us at that point in time. And so that's why we call ourselves a modern New Orleans bakery instead of saying we're a French bakery, we're an Italian bakery, we're an Asian bakery. So modern for us is that people are very much all over the world, right? And so everybody's experiencing different flavors across the world. And we've had many of our own travels and many family influences from our different backgrounds. And so it's more like what tastes good to us right now and what's in season right now, and what is a vessel that we can put that in that we find interesting right now. So
like you've put boudin in pastry.
Yeah.
Yes, I have not had that, but...
You haven't had the boudin boy?
No.
Oh, gosh, I
should I come
brought
down?
You. Yes. Boudin boy and muffaletta breadstick are number 1 and 2 sellers.
Really?
Yeah. Since day one. Yeah, and we pair the boudin boy with a hot peanut chili oil, which is amazing.
No, you've never had boudin?
Oh, I've had boudin, but not...
That's just not our boudin boy.
Okay.
So it's in our
No,
croissant
don't worry.
dough.
I
And
knew
what
you were
makes
gonna-
it's so crispy because it's croissant dough, but we don't proof it. And so it just goes straight into the oven, and you have these thin layers of flaky dough. And I always say it's like eating a fried wonton to me, you know?
And I've had a fried wonton, Troy, so you just got to mix them together. Now, Troy, I know you've franchised, I guess, one. I would imagine your friends, this is just the way friends are. It's like, why don't you get 12 buses? And
Then it has been brought up quite a few times. But I just don't want to explode this so quick and then it flops on me, you know? I don't think it would happen, but I'm not taking that chance. I'm taking little baby steps. Let's just baby steps and take it one day at a time. I do have a lot of people all over the country, and I've got some friends in the UK and Scotland. They like want to do this too. They're like, oh, we got to get on board.
you're listening to Out to Lunch. I'm Peter Raschuti. I'm talking with Troy Bergeron from Doggie Bus and Samantha Weiss from IU Bakehouse. We'll continue our conversation when we come right back from this short break.
Out to Lunch is brought to you by Basics Underneath. Fine lingerie, personalized fitting, curated swimsuits, and workout wear. Uptown on Magazine Street and at basicsunderneath.com. And by Tracy Moore, broker, realtor, and partner at Rev Realtors, offering over 20 years of experience representing buyers, sellers, and investors. Learn more at tracy.revrealtors.com. Additional support comes from Chateau Sew, a fabric store on St. Charles Avenue. Chateau Sew offers quality fabrics, sewing notions, and classes. Details at chateausew.com.
You're listening to Out to Lunch. I'm Peter Raschuti. I'm talking with Troy Bergeron from Doggie Bus and Samantha Weiss from IU Bakehouse. And Samantha, when I think of what you're doing here, I just get the feeling that everybody's going here. It's not like usually businesses we talk to are either all tourist or all locals, but that's not the case.
And we really don't want that to be the case. And I think where we're positioned in the city also allows us to have both locals and tourists because we're right on that edge. We're technically a block out of the French Quarter and Marigny Triangle. So you have plenty of neighborhood locals, and then we have the tourists who are hanging out in the French Quarter. And so we wanted to be like this oasis for tourists. If you made the walk from Canal Street all the way to the end of Frenchman, that you have this place of respite once you get there. You made the pilgrimage. You deserve something wonderful when you get there.
I like the terms you're using. Respite. Yeah. So it's a religious event when you finally make it to the pastry.
I mean, with all the natural light in there, it is kind of heavenly, right?
Troy, I look at this and I think of all the little problems which you've probably fixed already. Are the dogs, do they have microchips?
Most of my dogs that I pick up are chipped and neutered or spaded, either one. It's not a requirement to be chipped with me. Spaded and neutered is requirement. I'm a big fan of chipping. You know, all 3 of my boys are chipped.
The dogs.
Yeah, I have 3 of my own. The dogs.
Some editing crisis right here.
So, but it's not a requirement. But in today's world, people care more about their pets than their own children.
Isn't that true?
And believe me, I see it every day. And they gotta go chip that dog before they chip their kid because they want to know what the dog's at all times.
So you're promoting chipping your kid. That's the way I've written it down here. I have to ask you this. The dogs themselves, like you used to transport rock stars. Are the dogs easier to work with than the rock stars?
Yeah. I was just telling a guy over here, 80s and 90s were pretty crazy. I'd have to say in the last few years, it is more family-oriented. I've been with some well-known bands that bring their dogs with them all over the world.
Wow.
And
Did the dog sit up front with you?
Yeah, it was great. Well, not my personal. In my van, my 2 little ones ride with me up front all the time. But it's amazing, the music world has definitely calmed down a lot, and I like it. The last tour I did was in 2021. It was family. They had the families with them, the animals with them. Thank you.
Less drugs, more dogs.
Yeah,
it's probably a good
absolutely.
trade-off. Yeah,
but you know what? It was pretty crazy for a while, but now it's not.
I'm looking forward to your memoir.
I get every day. Matter of fact, I went to UNO. It was a concert Saturday night and saw some guys that I haven't toured with in a long time. They all said, "Hey, man, when's that book coming along?"
The tell-all.
I'm like, and it wouldn't be so much tell-all. It's just I've lived a great life. It's been fun.
And they go, then we'd have to kill. We'd have to
No,
kill
they
that guy.
ain't
He's a
killing
nice
me.
fella, but Troy's going down. Hey, Samantha, you do something that's very separate, a bit separate from what you do in real life, in that you have created kind of, I think you call it, it's a schoolhouse, right?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
IU Schoolhouse.
I was fascinating because, I teach in Tulane Business School, and I was so happy you're doing this. Why?
Yeah, well, when we first opened, I had a lot of staff members asking us, what books should we read? What classes should we take? We want to open our own place someday. And I was like, oh, here's a book, or here's an idea, or here's a free online class. And I was like, but really, you just have to do it,
But stuff that maybe you learn going along, you share that with them?
Yeah, and so we set it up so that way everybody, first round we did like an 8-week course where we shared with the team, like, here's how you can come up with a concept, develop your concept. Here's how you determine your marketing and demographic strategies. Kelly, whose mother is actually our accountant, put together workbooks for everybody, and helped them come up with their own financials. Everybody came up with like their own concept, right? And so we helped them figure out what their labor is, how to figure out how much they might sell of whatever their product was. And then they had the opportunity come week 7 to pitch to us whatever their idea was. And then we let them do a pop-up out of the bakery on Friday and Saturday evenings for 5 weeks. And so Bella, who won at the time, started Samita Mamita. And so she's been doing that ever since.
Can you tell us what that is?
Samita, it's it's a pastry, a Latin pastry.
So you don't make them sign non-competes or anything?
No, I mean, also it was after hours, right?
Yeah,
You
but I
know?
mean, they might create another bakery, right?
Sure,
Am I
but
the first one that's brought that up? Because that's really
I think
that's really
maybe
dangerous.
we would have said like you have to be X miles away. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's wonderful.
Yeah, so she's been doing the pop-up ever since on her own on the side. Still works for us. And so we have another round of IU Bakehouse going on right now. But I think it's also important to say that we let them keep whatever profits they would have earned from that. So we help support them in the cost of everything. Yeah, and so now we're doing it in a different way where we have team members who, if they want to pitch, they'll partake in a holiday market, and we'll get them a table. So it's just a single-day commitment. And if they want to keep doing this sort of project on the side for themselves, at least they have the tools in order to do so. And it's important, especially in this industry, because this is a difficult industry, and so you don't have maybe the financial support from either yourself or your family. And I think this is a safe space where you can figure out, like, can I manage this? Does this make sense for me? And not have to go into debt for doing so.
Yeah, that's an important part. You can only go bankrupt if you have debt. So it's, I've got to ask you this other question, because we've had guests and they all deny this, but you were doing something to get this much publicity nationally. I mean, I know you're going to tell me it was luck or something. It wasn't, right?
I mean, it was luck, right, in the beginning. I mean, maybe not luck. I mean, there was a lot of intention with what we were doing, right? What are we putting out into the world? But as to what people do once they receive that, like, how do they share that with the world? I mean, a lot of this was word of mouth, and we ended up in Bon Appetit magazine because a chef in town, listed us as one of the places that they love to go when they're on their day off. And I couldn't have imagined that. Like my first reason for being in a magazine like Bon Appetit was because a James Beard nominated chef wanted to share that with the world, and that had an impact.
You didn't have to go on a show like Everybody's Got Donuts or something like that. There's you really, that's pretty great. And we talk about doing good things like what she's doing with the schoolhouse. Troy, you help out the SPCA.
Yes.
And
I fluke accident. SPCA of Justin Parish is ran out of Justin Feed. I go there quite often to buy specialty treats for my dogs. And the manager was there. He's like, did I just see you pull up in a yellow school bus? I said, you did. He introduced me to Rachel and the team there, and I've done quite a bit of work with them.
do you have seat belts?
Well, I have what they call doggy seat belts.
Okay, now.
Wish I would have invented that one, though.
All right.
It's a seat belt, clips into a regular seat belt holder, and it's got a glass handle, and it just clips onto the collar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine the other iterations that didn't work? There's something.
We all have that moment, like, we wish we would have thought of that, right? But yeah.
That's what the show's built
That's what it
on.
is. I'm not a fan of putting dogs in cages or kennels. I'm not a fan of that. To me, it's cruel. There's certain type of like pinch collars that a lot of owners use. I try to deter them away from it. You're hurting the dog. I don't like it. So that was a lot of. I get a lot of questions. You got kennels in your van and cages? No. Regular seatbelt. They sit there, put them in the cop, clamp them in, good to go. I do get a lot of questions. You ever have any aggressive dogs that fight? No, I haven't. Everybody's been
Couldn't
good.
say that with rock stars.
Right. I've never had an issue with a dog being aggressive or anything. There's been a couple clients. At first, they warned me, okay, she doesn't like men, or he doesn't like to be touched on his head or whatever. It's worked out fine.
And look at you. You have
worked
all
out
10
fine.
fingers. I'm right next to you. Yeah. Samantha, you're doing all the right things. Not only the schoolhouse, but fair pay, benefits, all that. Do you make money?
Yes. Yeah, we're profitable.
Right, that's what I have to ask.
I mean, we have to be sustainable, right? And that comes down to our profits as well. And so I think we would love if someday we could get to a starting wage for everybody of $15 an hour. And so, that's probably taking longer than we would have hoped for, but it's still a goal. And I think that I'm also always paying attention to what is the livable wage right now, and how do we get there? Like, how much more business do we need in order to get there? So it's important to us.
Samantha and Troy, you'd have to be living under a rock these days not to be impacted by a seemingly endless onslaught of stressful developments, from international conflicts to national politics to local standards and even the daily war between your car and potholes. But no matter what else is going around us, there are at least two things that are universally bright spots in our lives: puppies and pastries. Thank you both for making the world a brighter and better place for humans, dogs, and Kevin the cat. And thank you for taking the time today to join me for Out to Lunch.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
My guests on Out to Lunch today have been Troy Bergeron, owner of Doggie Bus, and Samantha Weiss, co-owner of IU Bakehouse. We edited this show to fit into the time slot here on WWNO. You can hear our unedited conversation and find out more about Troy's dogs and Samantha's baked goods by listening to the Out to Lunch podcast. You can find and subscribe to the Out to Lunch podcast on your podcast app and on our website, itsneworleans.com. If you want to know what we all look like, you can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Out to Lunch social media. These photos were taken today by Jill LaFleur. You can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com. Out to Lunch is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com and WWNO 89.9 FM. The producer of our show is Grant Morris, our technical producer is Eric Merle, and our researcher is Amy Irvin. I'm Peter Raschuti. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to meeting you again next week around the lunch table for more business, New Orleans style, on Out to Lunch.
Out to Lunch was recorded live at Columns on St. Charles Avenue. Columns serves lunch and dinner 7 days a week, hosts weddings and private events, features evenings of live jazz and more. Reservations for dining and hotel rooms are at thecolumns.com. Columns is a member of New Orleans & Company. More information at neworleans.com. Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys and offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Luba Workers' Comp, a regional insurance carrier dedicated to providing reliable workers' compensation coverage to employers and workers in 13 states across the Southeast. With personalized service, trusted expertise, and tailored solutions, Luba helps businesses protect what matters most. Discover more at lubawc.com. And by JP Morgan Chase, a partner in financial planning. Looking ahead to retirement, growing your business, or for commercial banking, JP Morgan Chase offers advice and solutions tailored to individual needs and client well-being. More information is at jpmorganchase.com. Mitchell Foreman wrote and performs all the music on Out to Lunch. You can hear Mitchell's music anywhere great jazz is sold or streamed, and at mitchellforeman.com.